Hey everyone, so yeah, this is gonna be my review of 11 Madison Park. I've been wanting to go to this restaurant for a really long time. It's a 3 Michelin star restaurant and it's fully vegan as of a couple years ago, so definitely very excited to try this out. This is the ambiance inside, and yeah, let's jump right in. They kind of gave us some warm towels to start off with their drink books, just right off the bat. Again, yeah, the ambiance at the restaurant was just really amazing. We were pretty early. I think we came in around like 5:30. So the restaurant was pretty empty. We were one of the first people to be sitting down. But yeah, it was a really nice experience. The lighting was great, and they helped us. They even had a gate check for our bags and our coats and everything. So it was a really great experience. So yeah, this is the drink menu. Obviously, I don't drink, but they did have some interesting things on there that I wanted to check out. One was a drink from 1840 for approximately like $700. I've never seen anything that old, so that was really cool. But yeah, this is some of the non-alcoholic drinks that we had. So got the hibiscus one, but yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So they kind of brought out forks and spoons because they replaced them between each meal. But the first one was a radish tea with coconut and a lime leaf. So it was like a hot drink, but then yeah, got just a hibiscus drink as I mentioned right before. Interested in getting a cold and a hot drink, but I wasn't really sure that we were going to get a tea one. And then also just got a peach tea as well, which had kind of like orange flavor inside. It was really cool. And the ice actually has a stamp of the restaurant's logo in it. It's kind of hard to see, but that was definitely very, very cool to see. So yeah, the next one was a salad with mint and sea fennel, as well as a dumpling with bamboo that you'll see that's right there. They've kind of bamboo on top and the dumplings hidden underneath with some chili oil. Those two dishes were amazing. The mint and of the salad was just really refreshing, just like right off the bat is kind of the first thing, and the little liquid that they have inside was really good. And then the dumpling, which I believe I'm going to try to get a spoon to just kind of show you the dumpling, but they had really nicely cut bamboo leaves on top that looked stunning. But yeah, the dumpling was really good. So moving on to the next dish, they kind of brought out these bamboo spoons, which I thought was really interesting. It's kind of fun to see what they're going to bring out. Not really sure what they're going to bring out next. So yeah, bamboo spoons, definitely excited to see that. And then they attached this grater to the side of the table, which really spiked my interest of what are we going to get. I thought it was going to be some sort of ice cream or something, which in hindsight is kind of dumb because it's the first meal. But yeah, it's actually carrot tartar. And yeah, they actually literally like crush the carrots on the side of the table. So what they do is they kind of steam the carrots in the kitchen beforehand, and then they bring the carrots out and they just keep on cranking it until it gets into a pulp, which is definitely very interesting. I've never actually seen that in a restaurant before, and I know that doesn't look super appetizing, but I promise you, what you'll see in a second of how they actually present that to you and how you're actually supposed to eat it, it actually made it taste very, very good. So yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just kind of steamed carrots. But yeah, the presentation was definitely something I've never, ever seen before. So they had like 3 carrots that they kind of sous vide in the kitchen, and then they kind of brought out here. But the official title of the dish is carrot tartar with rye, mustard, and horseradish. But they actually kind of leave out a bunch of the, in the title, a bunch of the cool toppings that you actually get to make. And so this dish, you actually get to make yourself. So here, you'll see this really, really cool plate. So what they do is actually take the carrots that you saw it being grated, and they kind of bring it over here. And on the left, you'll have carrot oil and carrot mustard, and then just a bunch of different toppings, from coconut to seeds to some vegan mayonnaise to just peppercorn. I don't even remember all the different toppings, but yeah, just think really cool toppings. Also the serving, like the little tiny bowls that they had them served in were really, really cute. And then they also had some rye bread. These honestly didn't really feel like bread, it just felt more like a rye cracker, but it still kind of worked together really, really well. So then they took the carrots and they put it in your plate, and the idea is you can kind of mix and match all the flavors. You can kind of put some of just how much of the toppings you want, and then mix it using your spoons in a little bowl, and then you would just eat it by itself or with the kind of crackers that you got. So what I went ahead and did is I just kind of mixed all the toppings together, because I was just kind of in the boat of, hey, if they serve it to you, might as well try it. And then after I did that, I got like a little rye cracker. I then took a bite and tried it. This dish was amazing and really, really enjoyed it. So now moving into the next one, this is tonburi with collard greens, calabri, and seaweed. This dish was kind of mid for me. I can kind of relate it to like just a broccoli patty with some wrapped in seaweed. Didn't super love this dish, especially after coming off that really cool carrot tartar. I felt like they could have done something a little bit better with this dish. It just tasted, honestly, kind of looks like just green mush. So not super impressed with this dish, but still a cool experience. Never really had, I think, Calabria before served like this, or I think ever. So definitely a cool experience. So kind of clear the plate. The restaurant's definitely filled up a lot more by now. You can kind of see all the people kind of coming in. I believe by this time it's around 6 p.m. Also, I'll see if you notice that a balloon at the top right back there. But yeah, next dish is cabbage with white truffle, tofu, and sesame. It also got served in a ceramic bowl. At first, that may not sound great, but the tofu is actually silken tofu. So when you actually take a bite of it, it feels like you're eating almost like feta cheese or just like a really nice cheese block. So I'm trying to like move it around just to kind of show you what it looks like. But this dish was amazing. It really felt like you were taking a bite of just cheese and nice like sesame cheese, and I'm trying to kind of show you what the tofu looks like in there, but you couldn't really taste it was tofu. It just tasted like you're eating a really nice cheese patty with some truffle and sesame oil. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this dish. It was definitely on the lighter side because it was like a 2-bite thing. This is just me kind of showing you just a cool aesthetic thing. I don't know. I just wanted to show you this. And yeah, that's finishing a most of my drink. The drinks are honestly like palate cleansers at this point. Kind of wish they did a little bit less on the ice, but I mean, the drinks themselves are both amazing, both the tea and the other one. So now comes out one of my favorite parts, the bread. So you'll see the bread, and then there's pumpkin butter with some like maple thing, but that butter is made from, oh, sorry, not pumpkin, squash butter with bread. And all this is vegan, which I want to say they were amazing. The butter, I mean, look at the butter, but also it's made from squash, which was like kind of crazy. The bread honestly kind of reminded me of like a whole wheat bagel with a croissant texture. It's really, really flaky, and it tasted amazing. It melted immediately. The bread was actually hot, and then when you see that little like brown stuff right there in the middle, it was actually kind of sweet. So it was like mapley sweetie. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I was actually really looking forward to this because this bread and this butter is one of their main highlights. And yeah, I definitely was not disappointed. It was amazing, and it tasted great. So yeah, just taking a bite. The butter melts right on the bread just because the bread is like freshly made and it's hot. So definitely really, really enjoyed that one. It's funny because you'll see in a second, we're actually going to get a second serving of bread just because of how much I actually really enjoyed the bread. Anyways, so now comes up the next meal. They have a really interesting way of serving this next one. It's called squash smoked with Thai chili and lemongrass. So what they do is they actually bring out the squash served in that massive container, and they're actually smoking with some firewood underneath. The squash has a couple of layers. It is, I believe it's a rice patty with then a thin layer of squash in the middle, like a squash, almost like mush in a way is the best way I can describe it. Then some squash in a different texture on top, and then she's grating another layer of squash. But yeah, it was just really cool, the presentation and the way they served it, as well as the dish itself. So I believe they're going to be bringing it over, and then they actually pour over some Thai chili and lemongrass or some sort of puree. Don't remember exactly what was in the puree, but this dish was really good. I gotta say, the texture of the squash and I think the rice patty that was underneath was a little bit tough to eat because the squash that you see caramelized on top was just a little bit difficult to eat. But I gotta say, the dish still tasted very good. The little sauce that you see on the outside, it just had a really nice smoky flavor, and it worked well with the squash. So this dish was definitely, first off, the presentation was amazing, and it also tasted really good. So it was a dish that I definitely really did enjoy to eat. I gotta say, so far in the restaurant, some of the presentations, from the carrot to this dish being rolled out on a smoking pallet that literally has like actual firewood underneath, definitely very impressive. And I think by this point it's almost been 2 hours. But yeah, then the bread person came back over and saw that we had finished the bread, so they offered more bread, 2 loaves again, as well as some more butter, and I went ahead and ate it. I gotta say, they did come over a third time to ask if we wanted some more, and I respectfully declined because I could not eat any more bread if I wanted to eat more. This dish was actually one of my favorites. This is a shiitake mushroom grilled with short grain rice and yuzu kosho. Or kosho, I hope I pronounced that right. But what this is a shiitake mushrooms, and just with rice. On the left side, you'll see some really cool things, pesto, as well as on the bottom, you'll see finger lime. And what finger limes are, you can kind of think of just you know how you have like popping boba, but this is a naturally made like lime. You can go buy it in like a grocery store, and it just has that texture just inside. So if you cut it and you squeeze it, it's just a bunch of tiny pearls, and they'll have like little lemon bites. And these were skewers of mushrooms. And if you actually like lift it, which I believe I do in a second, but what you'll see, yeah, you can see it kind of smokes up the screen because it's an actual, like, it's really, really hot. So you can kind of turn it over, and they're marinated in something. I wasn't really sure what, but you'll see if when I lift it, a little bit of smoke comes out. And it was kind of like a little shiitake mushroom kebab. And this was actually amazing. It was really, really hot to actually eat. So probably should have let it cool down a bit before I actually put it in my mouth. But it tasted amazing. And it was just a really cool way of eating mushrooms. It didn't really taste mushroom. It just tasted really good. So yeah, as I mentioned, those are the finger limes that you see right there on the bottom, and that was pesto. So the way I kind of ate it is I just put the pesto right on top of the mushroom with the rice, and then the next thing, and it tasted amazing. We can jump right into the next one. This was just grape in a variation. This is the first dessert course. You can kind of think of this like grape sorbet with actual pieces of grape inside and just scattered throughout it, with a nice ice layer of grape on top. I'm trying to show you what it is. I'm just having a little bit of difficulty actually just breaking it, but eventually, there you go, I get it. This one tasted nice. I would honestly say this one wasn't really a dessert, but more like a palate cleanser to differentiate between the first dessert course and actually just the rest of the meal. So yeah, this one, just a really nice, refreshing grape sorbet is probably the best way I can describe it. There you can see how thinly sliced the grapes actually were, and oh, there was some grape ice cream I think at the bottom as well, so that was definitely very nice. So ice cream sorbet ice. Got a little bit of a decaf coffee just to, you know, warm up the throat. It's always really nice to just end with some sort of like warm drink, so that was really nice. Next comes up with pear with white chocolate and ginger. On the left you'll see a little peach cake, and in the middle there, which you can't see, is a white ginger foam, and on the right is chocolate ice cream covered in a chocolate ganache that's been frozen. And on the top, which really beautifully, those are individually sliced peaches. As you can see, like as I try to like take a little scoop off of it, you can see how thinly sliced those peaches are, and they're actually amazing. They were really, really sweet, but also kind of had a tang of sourness, so it worked well because the cake on the bottom left was, I don't want to say bland, but it wasn't overly sweet, but the chocolate ice cream was. But then the ginger in the middle with the slight tanginess of the peach, it just was like almost like 4 pieces of dessert that all worked together really well. And I kind of removed the peach to show you the different variations of like the different desserts, but they were all really good. And I gotta say, it's really hard to beat ice cream. So yeah, the ice cream was probably kind of the peak of the dish, but if you got all 4 components, it was great. Now this part was really cool. This was the final dessert, and it was a game that we had to play. It's called Name That Milk. So what they did is they brought out 4 chocolates, and you kind of had to guess which milk they used to make each of the chocolates, whether it's coconut, rice, hemp, or pumpkin. And we thought this was really interesting because they don't tell you which chocolate is which. They just give you 4 and they're color coded, whether it be like for the different colors. And you just had to try the different chocolates, and then you drew a line between which color and logo you thought each one was. So I did try my best, but I gotta say, I couldn't really tell the difference. They were all amazing chocolates, but I couldn't really tell the difference, / I was just having a lot of fun eating the chocolates. So I sort of guessed which one was coconut, hemp, rice, or pumpkin, and honestly just had a fun time eating and opening the packages. Never had them play a game, and yeah, it's called Name That Milk Chocolate, because it's not really actual milk, but yeah, never had to play a game. So really, really enjoyed that experience. And I got 50%, so, you know, maybe I need to go back and learn how to differentiate chocolate. They ended it with giving us a little bit of non-alcoholic vermouth, just to kind of like clear our throat after eating all that chocolate. It was definitely it was kind of sweet, but it was definitely nice. You can see her pouring it in. And again, the ice cube did have a logo of the restaurant, so that was really cool. So yeah, that was the entire restaurant. I gotta say, I think the entire meal took around almost 3.5 to 4 hours. I know it kind of doesn't seem that long, but yeah, it was paced really, really well. Never really had any complaints throughout the entire thing. It was an amazing. They gave us a little gift bag with some granola inside and the menu. And I think the entire dish and dinner cost around like $350. And normally I'd be hungry after some of these, but no, I wasn't. I was actually full of this one, and I would actually highly recommend, if you have a chance and the means to go to New York to go to this restaurant, I would definitely recommend it. It was a great experience overall. I really had a great time and would extremely recommend going to this restaurant. So highly, highly recommend it. Definitely give it a check out. 10 out of 10. Love this place. All right. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you guys had a great time.